Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, surrounded by a room full of women as they have taken over my house. This is my sisters, my four sisters, my mother. She's not here. I'm a little inebriated, so my mom's not here. She's not here. It's my daughters, my wife, my sisters, the children. The house is crazy. I've got them all silenced and being quiet while I address the DFS community. Of course, this is your DFS community. Let's go ahead and jump into the regular formatting of the show. Tonight was a shit show. It was. We didn't see the score that we thought we were going to see. The second night in a row, we saw a lot of production off of the bench. Even guys in secondary roles, even some third options on teams, really getting into the action, and not those number one guys we normally would like to see when we roster and spend those high DK salaries on guys. So first thing I want to do is just thank everybody for joining me here in the sweatshop. The show is really taking off, man. The website is booming. Shit is really popping, and I'm so glad that so many of you are a part of everything we've got going on, man. And of course, there's so many different ways to support the show. We're gonna get into that at the end. I figure I'd make you sit through this long diatribe before we get into how to support the show. But let's go ahead and jump into tonight's core four. Now, what I do is every day I release my core four plays. The four guys that if you put a gun to my head and you say, Maurice, who's going to make 6x value? These are the four guys that I'm choosing. And it's not to say that, I'm always correct about these guys. And this is not even a disclaimer saying, hey, my picks are bad. It's not my fault, blah, 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 whatever. These are my picks. These are who I'm playing. The very most I can do is to create that transparency between you and I, let you know that the guys that I'm talking about, the guys in my player pool, are the guys I'm playing. Now, if I piece those guys together right, I have a great night. If I don't, I don't have a great night. But if you do, you have a great night, and that's the point. With the new stuff that we're going to be releasing, come here. Hello. This is my nephew. It's my nephew Jordan. Hey. He's the only other male in the household right now. How you doing? Who's your favorite team?
The Giants.
The Giants? Okay, cool. Well, how about in basketball? Who you like in basketball?
No, you guys.
You're a Knicks fan, and you're going to lose. Be gone. All right, so. Yeah, it sucks being a Knicks fan, bro. It sucks.
But we're Knicks.
We are Knicks fans, and it fucking sucks. Because they've been shit forever. But that's just what it is. That's my nephew Jordan, man. Really great young guy, man. I've got a lot of family in the house. We're celebrating, so it is what it is. But I had to go ahead and get the show done for you tonight. So let's go ahead and jump into the core four. This is where I try to lace you with 6x value, because there's three ways we can go about this. I'm never ever under any circumstance gonna give you less than 5 times value. I am the DFS Jerusalem. I am better than that. I don't give a fuck what happens. If a plane crashes, they still gonna play until they get 5x value. There's no way I'm gonna give you less than 5x value. At 5.5x, that's when we are working together in your lineup to get it to where it needs to be, to the cash line. 6x value or more, I'm telling you, hop in the car with me. I got you tonight. Now tonight, let's go ahead and see the tail of the tape and see where we lined up. We're gonna start with a player that I really liked in the core four tonight. He was a guy that was in a super plush matchup and should have had a really nice game out. What we did here was obey one of the sweatshop laws, where we attacked the Boston Celtics on the front line as far as rebounding the basketball. We're talking about Paul Millsap at 7.6K, 25% owned. So a lot of people were on him. 1/4 of all DraftKings players were on this guy tonight. He went out and he scored 41.25 DraftKings points, just reached less than that 6x value, but it was still a solid performance from an anchor in our core four. The next guy we're going to talk about is going to be Gordon Hayward. Now, he was my late night hammer. He was a guy in the late games that I really liked. I thought that, in a kind of a slow tempo game, he would be the only one that would be able to really go out and shoot the ball well enough to get that 6x value for us. But Gordon Hayward, 7K in salary, 9% ownership. Being in the late games did help us to have a lower ownership on him. He had 35.5 DraftKings points at about 5.1x. That's not horrible, but that just tells you that you need that you're helping me with your lineup instead of me helping you, right? The next player we're going to talk about was probably the worst play in the core four. This is Rudy Gobert, man, at 6.5K. He was 8% owned. So this guy was definitely in position to separate us on a night where the cash line was very low. He could have done a great deal to separate us from the rest of the field. He only brought back 28.25 DraftKings points, and at one point in the game, I'm talking about deep into the third quarter, this dude only had like 14 points. So not a good showing there from Rudy Gobert. The last play we're going to talk about was I did like him. I liked him all day. I knew at point guard we were in a conundrum because I didn't like Dennis Schroeder very much. I didn't want to spend up that much for Isaiah Thomas. Kyrie Irving was somebody who intrigued me, but I didn't want to pull the trigger there. This was Kyle Lowry at 8.5K, 21% in ownership. He goes out and scores 44.5 DraftKings points. This game was not a blowout in the conventional sense. It kind of got away from the Brooklyn Nets later on into the fourth quarter. So we did see a nice amount of run from Kyle Lowry, but it just did not translate into that awesome fantasy game that I thought we were going to see that would be able to make up for any discrepancies we saw in the other members of the core four. Altogether, this core at 5x value should have brought back 148.5 DraftKings points. At 6x value, we're talking 195. This core four had a huge potential to help us take down the GPP, but we finished at 149.5 DraftKings points. So that means if you rostered my core four tonight, you had to do the heavy lifting, and that is my bad. But on a night like tonight, let's go ahead and put it into proper perspective, because on a night like tonight, where we've got the cash line, and let's go ahead and check that out, because the cash line was fairly low tonight. I mean, I actually had this core four everywhere, and I actually made a couple dollars on it. So let's go ahead and check the cash line. I believe the cash line on tonight's lineup was, well, tonight's slate actually was around 260. 260 was the cash line. So if you were able to get around that 260 mark, you definitely, were able to make a positive return on your investment. And if you rostered this core four and you did it smartly around some other guys, there's no doubt in my mind you were definitely at the cash line where you wanted to be. So that is tonight's core four review. Let's go ahead and jump into the feature four players of the night. These are the four most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS Sweatshop, on Twitter, in the Facebook VIP, and of course on the website chat line. Let's go ahead and talk about them. We're going to start with the Who Dat. Scoring all them points over there play tonight. This is a guy who I'm normally on. If you've paid attention to the show over the last, month, then you've heard me talk a lot about Kelly Olynyk. This dude sees a nice amount of run off of the bench. Whenever we see, it's always a plus whenever we see some foul trouble for somebody who's starting for the Boston side. But this dude can shoot the three, man. He can stroke it. And at 4% owned, 4.1K, he goes out and brings you back 44.5 DraftKings points. I did not have enough Kelly Olynyk, and he is tonight Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player of the night. The next play we're going to talk about is how did I miss that play tonight? And this was very obvious because I ran a few models with some of the spreadsheets and optimizers that we're going to be releasing pretty soon, just to see what it was giving me. And it kept giving me this cat, and I didn't like it. The Sweatshop prototype optimizers that we're working on and should be released within the next coming weeks, it kept giving me this guy, and I didn't like him, so I didn't roster him. He was 14% owned, 6.9K, a similar price as the guy that was in the core four. He went out and he scored 55.5 DraftKings points. I believe he finished around maybe third amongst all DraftKings scorers. This is Nikolai Vucevic, man. An awesome game for him. How the fuck did I miss that tonight? We ran it. And me and the Sweatshop IT guys, we ran this in the optimizer, and it did not. It came up him, and it just was not what I put in my rosters, and that is definitely my fault. The next play we're going to talk about is the Heat Check play tonight. This is the guy who may not be in the highest priced salary. On some nights he may not score the most points, but tonight it's just the guy who balled the fucking hardest. And we're talking about Karl-Anthony Towns, 18% ownership, 9.4K, goes out and brings you 62.25 DraftKings points in a minus matchup against not only one, but two formidable center options or power forward options in the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're talking about Karl-Anthony Towns. Excellent game from you, and that is why you are tonight's Heat Check Player of the Night. Karl-Anthony Towns, salute. You did the damn thing, and that's why you are the Heat Check Player of the Night. Next player we're going to talk about is that one motherfucker. There's always one motherfucker who ruins your lineups. The one mother who talking shit on Twitter. He's calling other players out. He's saying, oh, Isaiah Thomas, you think you're so good, but you're short, and I'm taller than you, and I'm going to play better than you. And he goes out and gets destroyed, gets manhandled by a 5'7" point guard from the Boston Celtics. I'm talking about Dennis Schroeder, man. 10% owned, 6.5K. He brings you back 11.75 DraftKings points. Dennis, Mr. Schroeder, tonight, you a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass, and I ain't gonna roster your ass again. And I mean that, period, point blank. How the fuck can you go out at 10% in ownership, which is fairly low on a 9-game slate, as a starting point guard in this league, against a 5'7" motherfucker, and bring us back a measly punk ass 11.75 DraftKings point? Bitch, you got to be kidding me. You done ran off on the plug. And for that, you a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. Let's go and get on with the rest of the motherfucking shit. What we do at this point in the show, we jump into my very best DraftKings lineup, my very best core 4 DraftKings lineup. And the reason why I do this is to create that transparency between the two of us. So you know that the guys that I'm talking about, the guys in my player pool, are the guys I'm playing in fact. So let's go ahead and jump to that. Now, I didn't play, fairly heavily. I went about 5% of my total DraftKings account type shit. I didn't want to go too heavily on a slate where I had to work tonight at the restaurant. Shit got kind of crazy. I was trying to get shit uploaded to the website. We're still working on the optimizers. We're doing codes. We're doing all that shit. So I didn't want to play too heavy, but I did increase my buy-in, which is always a good thing. Let's go ahead and jump into my very best DraftKings lineup. I believe it was about 278. And on a night where 260 was the cash line, as you can see, this is a lineup that I really liked. I had it entered in quite a few spots. Let's go ahead and jump into it, man. We're going to start with Kemba Walker. Now, once I got the news that we were going to see Nick Batum, I hit up a friend of the podcast. He's a beat writer for the Charlotte Hornets, and he immediately responded, letting us know that Nick Batum was going to see a full run of minutes. So I should have got off of Kemba Walker at that point, but I just felt like the matchup against the Philadelphia 76ers was so sweet that we were going to see Kemba have a really nice game away from home to kind of, circumvent the narrative that Kemba is only good in the Beehive. He goes out, scores 29.5 DraftKings points, has a horrible 3 quarters, wakes up a little bit in the fourth, and gets us something there. The next play is a guy that I was on wholeheartedly. I love this guy all day long. As long as the price is that low on Rodney Hood, we have got to keep rostering this guy. We have got to keep doing it. At 4.4K, he goes out and scores 39.5 DraftKings points. Excellent, awesome game we saw from Rodney Hood. Of course, Paul Millsap was a guy that I liked. We talked about him in the core 4, 41.25 DraftKings points. Saw DeMarre Carroll. He was a staple in a lot of lineups that we saw in the DFS Sweatshop in the Facebook group. A lot of guys were on him. I kind of got that pick from the Facebook VIP, and that brought me back 34.75 DraftKings points at that 4.2K. That was solid. Kyle Lowry, of course, he was definitely in the core 4. We had Domantas Sabonis, who we kind of liked at that really cheap salary. Maybe a cheap way to get 6x value from a guy at 3.1, excuse me. CJ McCollum. Now, I didn't like Lillard very much in this game. And I thought if we were going to see anybody go off, it was going to be McCollum. He's really gotten his confidence up, especially since that period of time when we didn't see Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum was forced to carry the bulk of the load. He went out and scored 41.75 DraftKings points. Not a horrible showing, especially when we factor in how low the cash line was tonight. Mason Plumlee in the same game was 32.75 DraftKings points, and I believe he was at about 5.9K. That was a pretty decent showing from him. This lineup together netted me a total of 278.5 DraftKings points. Not the 300 club like we envisioned, but yet it still enabled us to cash. So we're happy with that. Maybe we can get that going on there. All right, let's get back to the logo. And now we're gonna jump into a quick recap of last night's games. Just to give you a look ahead. Tomorrow we've got a 9-game slate, but it's fairly choppy. And I think the largest on the main is going to be a 4-game slate that DraftKings is rolling out as their main slate, and that's where we're going to focus our stacks on. So I'm going to do a part 2 to that video tomorrow. We're going to get a lot closer on that, but tonight we're just going to go ahead and recap last night's NBA action. We're going to start in Philadelphia, where the 76ers took on the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I'm a South Carolinian man. I'm born in Brooklyn, New York, but I grew up a lot of my life in the South, in South Carolina, and it's just kind of hard for me to not like the Hornets, because they didn't have a reputation of being, a great team when I remember when they first came out. So I do follow them somewhat. So if you hear me speak about the Charlotte Hornets, you're gonna hear a little emotion because I really do like this team. I like the way they play. I love the city of Charlotte. It's a great town, great place to be. So let's go ahead and chop it up. We're going to talk about the Charlotte Hornets. Saw a nice game from Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, man. MKG in his 34 minutes had 12 and 12, with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block, while shooting 2 for 6 from the field. That's 33%. I just can't get this dude right. I just can't. When I think MKG is in a great spot, he shits the bed on me. And when I don't want to roster him, he goes out and drops 35, 38 DraftKings points. So that's just where I'm at with MKG. The next player we're going to talk about is going to be Cody Zeller, man. He had a double-double, 16 and 10, to go with 1 assist and 2 steals and a block. Pretty good for him in his 35 minutes. Nick Batum, man, in his first game back off of injury, kind of underwhelmed. In his 32 minutes, he had 19 and 5 to go with 2 assists and 2 steals. We saw a pretty decent game off of the bench for Marco Bellinelli. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. He was 1 for 6 from the field, shooting 16%, not great shooting percentage there. And Kemba, we talked about him. He led the game in minutes. He played 42 fucking minutes. And if you would have told me in the beginning, on the outset, that I was going to see Kemba Walker against the Philadelphia 76ers for 42 minutes, I'd have been like, hell yeah, sign me up. But he only had 17 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals while shooting 7 for 23 from the field. That is not like Kemba. He also shot 2 for 9 from three-point land. That's not a good showing there. On the Philadelphia 76ers side, we saw a nice game from Joel Embiid. He was limited to his normal 28 minutes, but he had 24 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, and 2 steals to go with 3 blocks while shooting 50% from the field. We saw a pretty decent game for Dario Saric off of the bench. At his 21 minutes, he had 15 points and 6 rebounds to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. Sergio Rodriguez played 16 minutes and had 11 points, 1 board, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And, TJ McConnell came in with a lot of hype, man. A lot of guys were like, yeah, I'm going to fuck with TJ McConnell. But he didn't really play a great game. He played 31 minutes and had 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. And Bob Covington had 11 points and 6 boards to go with 2 steals, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Now, Ersan Ilyasova is the blue balls player tonight because this dude had me ready to bust. The first quarter, he went out and had 14 points and finished the game with like 21. He didn't do shit else. He gave me blue balls, man. Ersan Ilyasova in 30 minutes had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Not a great game there from him. And Sauce didn't do much. So if you had him, you had too much sauce. The next play we're going to talk about next game is going to be the Toronto Raptors at home against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, we knew the blowout factor was real in this game. We knew there was a very good chance this game was going to blow out. But I felt, especially when it comes to my core four, I felt that if this game was going to blow out, we were going to see a very nice game from the Toronto Raptors side of the ball, most notably Kyle Lowry. So we're going to start with the Brooklyn side. When Bojan Bogdanovic, man, in 27 minutes, he had 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists while shooting 9 for 16 from the field and 5 for 8 from 3. Excellent shooting game for Bojan Bogdanovic. Trevor Booker, man, he was another guy who we thought was going to be in a prime spot, a really good spot to go out and score some decent fantasy points. He underwhelmed in his 26 minutes. He had 6 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists. Not a great game there. Joe Harris got to start again at shooting guard. The price on him was very cheap, so in 24 minutes, his 11 points and 4 boards with a steal was exactly kind of what you wanted there. Spencer Dinwiddie was the play that I really got on late, as we figured out that we were not going to see Isaiah Whitehead, and he didn't disappoint. In his 27 minutes, he had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. And this guy should be starting. He definitely should be starting. Especially if not any team in the league for the Brooklyn Nets, he should definitely be starting. On the Toronto side, not a great game we saw from DeMar DeRozan. He did score 28 points, but he had 4 rebounds and 2 assists, and shot 11 for 22 from the field. But just not enough in the way of peripheral stats. If he's not dropping 40 real life points, you're really not going to see that value at DeMar DeRozan at the price that they keep him at. Kyle Lowry played 35 minutes. He led the team in minutes again. That's what he does. He is the league leader in minutes. He had 20 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, and 2 steals to go with 2 blocks while shooting 8 for 14 from the field and 3 for 7 from behind the arc. Pretty good game there. DeMarre Carroll, 18 and 11. And it's going to suck to see DeMarre Carroll's salary go up above 6K, but that's exactly where he's headed. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's going to get priced up. So we might as well jump on him as long as he's in a good matchup while he's still, in the right salary. Now, Bebe Nogueira, in his 29 minutes, 1 rebound shy of that double bonus. He had 10 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, and 4 blocks while shooting 100% from the field, 5 for 5. Really nice showing there at that price point. And Terrence Ross, in his 30 minutes, had 12 and 2 to go with 1 assist. Pretty good game from Corey Joseph, 16 and 4 to go with 7 assists, 2 steals. And this was a game where he shot 100%, 7 for 7. And he did see a fair amount of run because the game was in hand. They had blown them out. There was no need for them to keep on rolling out the starters. So we saw a really nice game from Corey Joseph. The next game we're gonna talk about Milwaukee Bucks at home against the Miami Heat. Now a lot of folks were on Whiteside and really wanted to roster that cat, but I just couldn't see it. 31 minutes for him. He had 19 and 9 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal while shooting 58% from the field. Not what you want if you're going to spend that much, 8.4K in salary. You need more from Hassan Whiteside. Luke Babbitt scored 16 and grabbed 4 rebounds to go with 2 assists and 2 blocks. Pretty decent game for him at that price point. Goran Dragic, 19, 3 and 3. Also with a couple of blocks. Not a good game there. And James Johnson, man, he did double-double. 10 points to go with 2 rebounds and 12 assists in his 37 minutes. Nice game there. Tyler Johnson played fairly well, 14 and 2 to go with 5 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks while shooting 50% from the field. Not much else we saw off of the Miami side. We're going to go and talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo was in a really good spot, a lot of people thought. But the price was just too high on him, and I really didn't like the price on him. He did lead the team in minutes with 36. He had 19 points and 8 boards to go with 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block while shooting 8 for 12. That is 66.7% from the field. Pretty good showing there. Jabari Parker led the team in scoring. In his 34 minutes, he had 24 points, 5 boards, and 2 assists to go with the block while shooting 9 for 20 from the field. Tony Snell, 14 and 1 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. And Malcolm Brogdon turned out a pretty decent game. 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. And that's where the value was on this slate. It wasn't on the high dollar point guards because it seemed a lot. This was a deep slate as far as point guards went, but the meat of the slate at point guard position was not at the top like it usually is. It was really low. So we saw a lot of great performances from guys that were kind of not the usual suspects. Greg Monroe in his 25 minutes had 16 and 11, pretty decent game from him. And we also saw 21 minutes of Michael Beasley, 11 and 7 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block while shooting 100%, 5 for 5 from the field. The next game I'm going to get into was one of the more disappointing performances we saw from a high dollar player. We're talking about the Houston Rockets taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. We're going to start with the home team side just because I'm raring to get into Harden's ass for this performance, man. Horrible performance. Like, if you're going to cost me, upwards of 12,000 DK dollars, the very least you should do is get me 55 DraftKings points. I mean, this dude had a shitty game, a horrible game. 36 minutes, 27 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, and 1 steal. And all of that sounds good, but when it comes to DFS, man, you got to bring it, bro. We need 76, 80 from you, James Harden. You damn near was a snowflake, but scoring that much points, and, it was hard for me to make him a snowflake. We're going to talk about Trevor Ariza. In his 36 minutes, he had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, while shooting 4 for 11 from the field. That's 36%, not good. Ryan Anderson had 10 points and did nothing else in his 25 minutes. Horrible game from Ryan Anderson if you did roster him. And Pat Bev didn't have a good one either. 6 points, 2 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block while shooting 3 for 7 from the field. And Eric Gordon off the bench, coming back his first game off an injury, kind of underwhelmed. He had 31 minutes and had 13 points, 1 assist, and 1 steal. On the Memphis Grizzlies side, we saw a fairly decent game from Mike Conley, 17 and 6 to go with 9 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. That was decent there. Zebo jumped off of the bench and wrecked fucking shop. He pulled down 12 boards, had 16 points, got 2 assists, 2 steals, while shooting 43% from the field. That shooting percentage could have been better. It would have had a better game, but he had an awesome game out. Really nice play if you did get Zach Randolph in your lineup. Mike Conley, in his 38 minutes, had 17 and 6. Excuse me. James Ennis had 12 and 6 to go with 1 assist and 1 block in his 28 minutes. And we also saw Troy Daniels in 22 minutes. He had 13 points to go with 3 assists and 1 block. Pretty decent game there from him. The next game we're going to talk about, the Atlanta Hawks at home against the Boston Celtics. This game could have been in overtime, but the homie Paul Millsap could not sink that last second jump shot to go ahead and put the game in overtime. But Jay Crowder, man, in his 33 minutes had 18 and 9. Pretty decent game at the price point he was at. Al Horford 10 and 6 to go with 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal to go with a block. Pretty solid game there, but not what we wanted. Isaiah Thomas, he lit it up in the fourth quarter. 28 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. Pretty decent game there. I believe it was 46 DraftKings points. Kelly Olynyk in his 31 minutes had 26 and 8 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal while shooting 9 for 11 from the field and 4 for 5 from 3. Pretty good game there we saw from him. On the Atlanta side of the ball, really nice game we saw from Paul Millsap, man. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block while shooting 8 for 15 from the field. And he did hit a 3-pointer even though he took 3 of them. Kent Bazemore is dead to me. He had 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Not a great game there. Tim Hardaway Jr. was the story of this game. Off the bench, man. He played 28 minutes, and he had 23 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. And we've got to understand what he means to this team now that Kyle Korver is not Atlanta Hawk anymore. Like, he is kind of like the man off of the bench. This is a guy who was in the running for 6th man of the year when he was playing with the New York Knicks. This guy can play. He can ball. He's very streaky, but he can ball. He can ball, definitely. Malcolm Delaney, in his 27 minutes, has 17 and 4 to go with 6 assists. And now do you see what I'm talking about at the beginning of the show? How secondary guys, third string guys, third options on teams were just going off tonight. It was a very weird night. We only saw Dwight Howard for 23 minutes, but he had 11 points and 8 boards to go with a steal and a block. He did shoot 100% from the field, but he just wasn't playing that long. Just wasn't playing. Now, the next game I'm going to talk about, Portland Trailblazers at home against the Orlando Magic. This was a really great game we saw from the, how did I miss that play tonight, Nikolai Vucevic. In his 31 minutes, he had 30 and 10, a big double-double to go with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks while shooting 72% from the field, going 13 of 18. Nice game there. Serge Ibaka had a double-double, 13 and 10 to go with 1 assist and 1 block. Pretty decent game there at his price point. And Elfrid Payton kind of woke back up. He had 19 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block. And if we didn't learn anything else from this game, we learned that the Portland Trailblazers can make anybody look good. The Trailblazers defense can make anyone look good because this is clearly a bad fucking team in the Orlando Magic. And they go out to the Motor Center and they beat them. Not only they beat them soundly and play very well in a lot of different spots. DJ Augustine, 15 and 1 rebound to go with 2 assists. And we also saw Jody Meeks knock down 2 quick 3-pointers. He had 12 points to go with a rebound, an assist, and a steal on the Portland side. Not a great game we saw from Dame Lillard, man. He scored 34 points. He had 8 rebounds and had 3 assists. But a double-double in that situation would have been very key. He shot at a decent percentage, 44%, hit 2 of 11 3-pointers. So if this guy shoots better from behind the arc, he has a monster game. CJ McCollum, 26 and 3 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Pretty decent game there. And Allen Crabbe got the start in place of Maurice Harkless. And this was kind of fucked up because like 3 minutes before the game starts, you get the news that we're not going to see Maurice Harkless. And I had him on my lineups from the early slate, or from the main slate. I was very pissed about that because I did also look at Evan Turner a lot. during the day. And I decided to go Maurice Harkless because I knew he was going to be the starter, but the joke's on me because he wasn't. Evan Turner in 23 minutes had 15 and 4 to go with 2 assists. Pretty decent game there from him. And Myers Leonard in his 20 minutes had 5 and 6 boards to go with 2 assists and two blocks. So next game we're going to talk about the Sacramento Kings at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We all knew this game was going to blow out. We knew the Cleveland were coming off a tough loss to the Utah Jazz, and he wanted to go out and assert their dominance. And if you're telling me that I'm getting 41 minutes from LeBron James, I'm like, fuck yeah, let me get that. Not a great game from him. He had 16 points and 15 assists, but he had 2 rebounds, 1 block, and 1 steal while shooting 50% from the field and 1 for 4 from 3. I needed a 55, 60-point game from LeBron James in order to really get to where I wanted to be. That did not happen tonight. Kevin Love in his 31 minutes had 18 boards and 15 points to go with 1 assist. Pretty decent game there. Kyrie Irving had 26 and 3 to go with 5 assists and a steal. Pretty decent game for him at that price point. And Iman Shumpert got the start, and he shot 66% from the field. Had 16 points to go with 2 steals. Pretty decent game if you got the chance to get him in your roster. And Kyle Korver, off of the bench, hit 4 3-pointers, had 18 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals. That may have been the X factor when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers and what they need to really make another push at an NBA championship. On the Sacramento side of the ball, we're going to talk about Rudy Gay. He was actually one of the better players in this game. 23 and 10 to go with 2 assists and 4 blocks. We saw a nice game from Boogie in his 38 minutes. He did lead the team in minutes, and he had 26 points, 8 boards, and 11 assists to go with a steal. Pretty decent game there. Darren Collison had a nice game in 13 and 1 rebound to go with 4 assists. And Ty Lawson had 17, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. A better game than Darren Collison, even though he came off of the bench and played more minutes. He played 26 minutes. Collison played 22. That should tell you something about the way the coaching staff feels about this point guard rotation. That should tell you something right there. Anthony Tolliver, he's been pretty good over the last few games, but tonight, 7 points and 6 rebounds and 2 steals. That was it for him. The last game on the slate is going to be the Utah Jazz at home against the Detroit Pistons. Now, the game first started out in the first quarter. The Detroit Pistons jumped all over the Utah Jazz's ass, and I was like, oh shit, at least the game's going to be close. That's not true, because we saw Rodney Hood heat the fuck up, and he had a really nice game. But we're going to start on the Detroit side, where Andre Drummond fell 1 point shy of that double-double bonus. He grabbed 19 boards, but only had 9 points, 1 assist and 1 steal. Pretty decent game there, but not what we wanted when we spent that 7K on Andre Drummond. Tobias Harris in his 34 minutes had 13 and 2 to go with 1 assist. Now, Aaron Baines started the game. He did, but he only played 16 minutes. And, you know, I can dig what coaches are doing when it comes to minutes and rotations and they want to get their guys in certain spots, but come on, man. Start the best fucking players on the team, man. Damn. Stanley Johnson, in his 25 minutes, had 10 points and 1 steal while going 3 for 11, 4 for 5 from the field. And Reggie Jackson turned in his third stinker in a row. Horrible game from Reggie Jackson. 27 minutes. He had 7 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Not a good game from him at all. Marcus Morris, not a good game either. This team combined scored 77 points and got the doors blown off. I'm talking 33-point victory. Horrible game from the Jazz. I don't even want to talk about the motherfuckers no more. Let's go ahead and move on to the Utah Jazz. Gordon Hayward, in his 26 minutes, didn't have to play a lot. He didn't have to play a lot because they blew him out. He had 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals while shooting 8 for 12 from the field and 3 for 7 from 3. Rudy Gobert, he did grab 11 boards, but he only had 6 points, an assist, a steal, and 3 blocks. Rodney Hood, we talked about him. He led the team in scoring, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. And we saw 22 minutes from George Hill, 27 minutes from George Hill. He scored 22 points while grabbing 4 boards and dishing out 1 assist. We need to see more from you, George Hill, if we're going to be able to roster you with confidence going forward. Derek Favors, in his 27 minutes, had 9 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty decent game there for his price point. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the player pricing. I was going to stop, but let's just keep on rolling, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the player pricing. We know tomorrow we've got a choppy 9-game slate. Saturday, we're going to see games as early as 3 o'clock. So, you know, the motive don't change. We're stacking. Clearly, we're stacking. And that's just what we're going to do. So let's just go over the player pricing really quickly. I'm going to be investing fairly lightly into tomorrow's games. As, of course, like I said, my family's in town. My sisters are here. And see, let's just look at this. Check this out. Now, on the main slate, we got an all-day slate of 5 games. Starts at 3:30. We've got 2 games at 8 o'clock. This is the main. Starts at 5. We got 4 games here. So play lightly tomorrow. If you're not comfortable with jumping into these slates and just stacking the shit out of teams, play light. We've got 9 games jumping off Monday. Take a day off Sunday. It's cool. Play some NFL. We don't have to go all the way in every time. Okay? Now I will, because I am your DFS Jerusalem and that's my job. But let's go ahead and jump into that main slate of games at 4 o'clock. And I just want to go ahead and verify that this is exactly what it's going to be. Yes, the main slate is going to be the 4 games at 4 o'clock. Real quick, let's jump into it. Gonna hit all of them. Now, first things first, we know we didn't see Anthony Davis out last time. He is the most expensive guy on the slate at 11.4K. I don't like to roster Anthony Davis when I think he's healthy. And if I think he might be hurting, strong drink for Anthony Davis. I'm not gonna fuck with him. I'm just not. Now, if we get word that he's playing, he's fine, he's back to full strength, and it's cool, blah blah blah. Yeah, we can go there. But if there's any minutes limit or anything like that, I'm not fucking with Anthony Davis tomorrow. John Wall, he did not practice yesterday. He is questionable. This game is in Washington. If he does play, I do like him. Jimmy Butler, another guy. If he does play, I do like him at a 9K flat. I like Kawhi Leonard at 8.5. There's definitely stack potential on the San Antonio side. Joel Embiid probably will not play. He probably doesn't play on back-to-backs. So then we can look at Nerlens Noel, as well as Jahlil Okafor. Jrue Holiday at 7.3 is a no-go for me. Gordon Hayward, yes. 7.2, I like him. Dwayne Wade, if we don't see Jimmy Butler, fire him up again. 7.1, I like him. Brad Beal, 7K, I don't like him as much. Going up against kind of a scrappy defender in Robert Covington. I don't think I like Brad Beal too much. In a Washington stack, I would go somewhere else. LaMarcus Aldridge, 6.9. He isn't playing against Phoenix. Ersan Ilyasova, yes. 6.7. Terrence Jones. You know what time it is. If we don't see AD, fire the fuck up Terrence Jones. Otto Porter is definitely in play at 6.6. Rudy Gobert, yes, in a bounce back. 6.6, I like him. Eric Bledsoe, 6.5 is a yes. Martin Gortat, the league leading among minutes among centers. He doesn't play tomorrow, but he's been playing so bad lately that's going to be hard for me to get on him. It's going to be very hard. George Hill is in play, even though there's the 6th ranked DVP against the league. I like George Hill tomorrow, 6.3. Robert Covington, yes, 6.2. Nikolai Vucevic, yes, 6.1. Even against, he's not going to be seeing Rudy Gobert in the first team. He's going to be seeing the Jeff Withy and those guys. So I do like Nikolai Vucevic tomorrow. Markieff Morris is in play for me. Paul Gasol is a no. Devin Booker, yes. I like Devin Booker tomorrow. Serge Ibaka is a no for me. TJ McConnell, yes. Taj Gibson. The Chicago Bulls are the best defense rebounding team in the league. And especially if we don't see AD tomorrow, I like Taj Gibson. Nerlens Noel, yes, all day for me tomorrow. Aaron Gordon is a yes for me. Evan Fournier, no, I don't want any part of him. We can definitely look for Tyreke Evans tomorrow at 5.1. A lot of guys have been chasing. He's probably not going to hit that 40-point mark like he did the other night, 48 points, but I think we can definitely lean on him for 5.5 to 6x value at that 5.1 price point. Nikolai Mirotic is probably going to be out tomorrow. Elfrid Payton is a no for me. Tyson Chandler, yes, against the San Antonio Spurs. Rajon Rondo, you kind of got to give him a shot, especially if Jimmy Butler's out and Nikolai Mirotic is out and Denzel Valentine is out. You got to give him a shot because he's going to be the 6th man off of the bench. Derek Favors is a yes for me at 4.8. Jahlil Okafor, yes, if he does get some playing time at 4.7. We got to stay tuned to that. Tony Parker, if he does play, I kind of like him tomorrow. Carter Williams, yes. Dario Saric, yes. Rodney Hood, of course, the price is still 4.4 on this guy. That's gonna lead me to do it. That's gonna lead me to stack Utah automatically, just because the price is so low on him. Buddy Hield, he really disappointed the last time out, and that may see ownership lean a little bit toward off of him. And remember, everybody's not stacking. This is privileged information. This is shit that I'm giving you that we are figuring out together. So I definitely like Buddy Hield tomorrow in a New Orleans stack if we don't see Anthony Davis. Robin Lopez 4.2. Yes, this is the best defensive rebounding team in the league. I like Robin Lopez. Dougie McBuckets is dead to me. No. Donatas Montejunas, his price isn't going up because he's doing well. The price is going up because everybody's rostering this cat, and I won't be one of them tomorrow. I'm not fucking with Donatas Montejunas. TJ Warren is a no for me. Sauce, no. David Lee, yes. Jerry Grant, no. Shelvin Mack, no. Bismack, no. Jonathan Simmons, no. Valentine, if he's playing, yes. Rashawn Holmes, no. Augustine, if he does play, yes, he's gonna see his second team. I kind of like him a little bit. Solomon Hill is in play for me at 3.6 against the Chicago Bulls. Sergio is a no for me. PJ Tucker is a yes for me against the San Antonio Spurs. Dwayne Dedmon, yes. Gerald Henderson, no. Ingles, yes. 3.5. I like that. They may blow them out. I like that. Brandon Knight is definitely in play for me, while Eric Bledsoe is not. I would rather have Brandon Knight going up against the San Antonio second team than to have Eric Bledsoe going up against the San Antonio first team. Danny Green is a yes for me at 3.5. He's been shooting very hot lately. They're going to continue to allow him to guard the best player on the perimeter while being able to shoot that mid-range or that deep three-point shot. I like Danny Green tomorrow. Tim Frazier is a no for me. Kelly Oubre is a yes for me. I like him, especially if we don't see John Wall. If we don't see John Wall, they're kind of going to give up on this game. And they're going to just let guys play. So I do like Kelly Oubre tomorrow if we don't see John Wall. Kyle Anderson is a no. Marcus Chris, he does start, but I don't like him. Dante Cunningham is a no. Ginobili, yes, 3.3. That's a very nice price on Ginobili. I like him. Alex Len is a yes for me at 3.3 as well. Felicio, we've got to give him a consideration. We've got to, because he's had a really nice couple of games out. Sheldon McClellan is a no. Jody Meeks, yes, for me at 3.2. Now, against a first-rate DVP in the league, if this guy was a slasher that had to go to the basket to score, I wouldn't like him. But he can just stand around and shoot the deepest of three-point shots. I like Jody Meeks tomorrow. Jeff Green is a no for me. Patty Mills, yes. Eton Moore is yes for me. Trey Lyles, no. Isaiah Cannon, no. Galloway, he's in play for me in some situations. Quincy Von Dijk, no. Paul Zipser, if he does get the start, we've got to get him consideration at 3K. Anytime you got a guy that's starting at 3K, you've got to give a closer look to him. So, just to run through the point totals that we do have right quick. The only games that we have a point total on is the LA Lakers at the LA Clippers, and that's one of the early games. As far as the 5 o'clock games, the only game we have a point total on is the San Antonio Spurs at the Phoenix Suns. This is a 213 point total with the Suns giving up 11. With the San Antonio Spurs giving up 11 points to the Suns. That's the only point total that we do have because we got so many injuries on the outside. Now, it's my recommendation to you to play light tomorrow. This is a choppy 9-game slate. It looks good, but it's fool's gold. So I would really suggest that you play lightly if you're not absolutely comfortable. Now, if you're comfortable with the slate, go all in, balls to the wall, do what you do. That's what I'm going to do. But if you're not comfortable with this short slate, this short choppy slate, if you just want to play a couple games in the early or a couple games in the late, do that. Do that. Remember, we stick to our bankroll management strategy where we go 10% of our complete bankroll if we like the slate. That's the max we go. If we don't like it, but we still want to play, no more than 5%. This is how we can be profitable players. We don't lose it all in one day, and we can't win it all in one day. It's a very long season, and I want you here with me for the duration. So let's go ahead and cut the show short tonight, because I got the family in town and I kind of want to get back to the festivities. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so. Click that box over there that says support the show. Let it take you wherever it's got to take you. You can copy some DFS Sweatshop swag. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, 100% gilded cotton, really nice shit. We can also become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop by joining us at www.dfssweatshop.com. This has been your DFS Jerusalem signing off. Hoping that you have an excellent, awesome, wonderful weekend. The stack sheets are going to be out tomorrow. Do not fret. We still got that stuff coming to you. But the one thing we want you to do here in the DFS Sweatshop always, always keep it 300.